Hello and welcome back to another lesson of C++. I'm your host, Riley, and today we'll be going over 1.2.7 loose change. So as we discovered in the last episode, there is a new line of code that can add all the libraries of C++ into your program at once. It was bits/stdc++.h. So instead of entering in a bunch of lines, it can just be one and done. As usual, our program starts with a using namespace std, so we don't have to enter it in front of every single line of code. So right now we're trying to find loose change. So if I quickly run the program, we'll see that what we're trying to do is find the best amount of change from quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies that would suit whatever amount of change the user inputs. So as we can see, welcome, please enter your name. Rye the guy. Enter. Hello, Rye the guy. Please enter an amount. Make sure to add a decimal before cents. So we're now going down to these lines of code, which introduce the get line for the name, because as we've learned, get line takes the entire line, not just one word, and it's used for names because we can then get the entire line, the first, middle, and last name. So please enter an amount. Make sure to add decimals before cents. Now, note how up here we've already stated some variables. Double x and integer y. Int is short for integer. So double takes decimals. Integer does not. That is the difference between them. So as we see, when we're asking for them to enter it, we're taking cin variable x because variable x is a double. And we want to take in decimals because cents are decimals. They are after the decimal point. So if I go back here and I enter in, let's just make up something, 900, can't enter. Gotta rerun the program again. But, so as we see, what's your name? Rye the guy. Please enter an amount. $956, decimal point, 12 cents. Enter. And as we see here, it tells us you will need this many quarters, this many dimes, this many nickels, and this many pennies. And then, of course, it says, thanks for joining us today, Riley Guy. So now if we scroll down to the code, we'll see exactly how this works. So we just finished inputting the x. This is our variable x. We inputted the amount of how much cents we want. Now, as you see here, we need to convert it because since we want to find the integer, but integer does not take decimals. So the easiest way to do this is y, which is the integer, equals x, which is what we just entered here. So 956.12 times 100. 100 so that we can get past the decimal point. So we have no decimals in our program. Now, it then takes that and says, you will need. Now, we're going to continue on. Quarters. To find quarters, they're 25 cents is a quarter. So because we are in whole numbers now, there is no decimal point here. So y, which is now y equals. So now this number is now equal to this. So y, which now is 95612, because there's no decimals, divided by 25, which will give us how many quarters we'll need, which is 3,824. Now, this is the mod symbol. It's used to get the remainder after the calculations of the quarters. So now y, this is because it's mutable. Strings are just like strings are mutable. The mod symbol is a version of how to do this. So y is now equal to y, the previous output, mod 25, because we want to get rid of the quarters. Now that we have this out of the way, we need to find the rest. So that's what this line does. Now we need to find the dimes. So dimes are 10 cents. And because there's no decimal, we divide it by 10 because we modded this. So whatever answer was here is now out. So now it's just the remaining, which is left, which would be 24 cents. So that divided by 10, that's going to be 2 because we're not counting leftovers. Now that we have that, we use the mod again to get rid of this so that we have it fresh for the nickels. Same thing with the nickels. We divide it by 5 because nickels are worth 5 cents. we get the answer. Now, unfortunately, in this problem, there were no nickels needed because we only needed pennies. If there was 1 more cent there, could have got a nickel and no pennies. So we scroll all the way down. Same thing. We mod it to 5 so that it's ready for the pennies. Pennies then divide by 1 because a penny is 1 cent of a dollar. And then it displays that amount, which is the cout Y1 right here. This displays to this. And then, of course, the final is just saying, thank you for joining us today. It takes the name, which is the string we entered at the very beginning here using the getLine command, and adds it right here by tying the string from the beginning all the way to the end. A neat way to close out your program. And as usual, the return 0 command is used to let the compiler know it's finished and the monitor can run the code. So that was 1.2.7 loose change. The only real thing that I will tell you is coding does take some math. As you see here, we have multiplication, division, and soon there will be a lot more that we need to get into. So knowing math and knowing how to use math by, for example, multiplying by 100 to get rid of the decimal helps exponentially when you're coding. So keep that in the back of your head. Likewise, this is 1.2.7 loose change. See you in the next episode.